Good evening. We're in Studio 6C today, and it's June 3rd, 2025. And it's my pleasure, Tuesday by the way, and it's my pleasure and honor to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
You're looking well. I heard you had a haircut and a professional shave.
Yeah.
Looks pretty nice. You look 15 years younger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I heard you had a special visitor today.
She had an infected nose.
Yeah, that's a lot of surfing. You get a lot of stuff when you surf. She's doing well. She's going to Bible studies now. Her whole life is either Bible or surfing. She travels the world with the Bible in the left hand and the surfboard.
The Bible's all worn out.
She's on the go 24/7. She had a big Bible study at the beach on Sunday. 30 people came and she supplied all the refreshments. She brought 7 of her surfboards, blankets, tables, and then she conducted the Bible studies.
Oh, yeah.
She's doing this around the clock. She's just, she loves what she's doing, and when you love what you're doing something, you just keep doing it, right? So you had a beautiful day, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, John J. Jeckovich, what's JJ stand for?
John Joseph Jacob.
Okay, so your mother's father's name was John.
Right.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Did you ever meet him?
Oh, yeah.
You met your mother's father?
Yeah.
Your mother's father? I thought they were in Poland.
No, he was here. They brought him over. Yeah.
Okay.
He was living with them. Yeah.
No
He
kidding.
had that big dog with him.
And that was her father?
Yeah.
What finally happened to him?
Well, he probably passed away.
Okay. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich jogged for 80 years, right?
Right.
Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, he's got 2 doctors, his left leg and his right leg. So as a result, you're telling us to keep moving.
Right.
Keep moving. Mr. Jeckovich never took a prescription or a vitamin in his life, jogged for 80 long years, and never smoked or drank. And it's an interesting fact about smoking, because when Mr. Jeckovich was in World War II, frontline combat infantry, the Red Cross would pass out cigarettes like candy bars.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you turn around, the Red Cross were handing you non-filtered cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like what kind of brands?
Pall Mall, Chesterfield, Lucky Strike.
So did you smoke then?
No, I gave them to the guys next to me.
You gave the cigarette. So on a board, and many of these young teenage soldiers took up smoking. And if they didn't get killed during the war by a gunshot or stabbed or bombed, 20 or 30 years later, they died of lung cancer. Yeah, the tobacco companies had their foot in that door.
Yeah. And
then before you're being released, after the war was over, tell us what the tents at the camp were.
Oh, Lucky Strike, Philip Morris, Chesterfield. They're all made cigarettes.
Pall
Mall, whatever.
So his tents, before they were getting released, it was on a point process. It took 3 or 4 months to get released on the point process, and they stayed in camps, and the camps were all set up by tents, and all the tents were named as a major cigarette brand.
Yeah.
So the tobacco companies had their foot in the door. They really did. And like I said, if those young teenagers didn't die from a war injury, they died 20 or 30 years later of lung cancer. Like your buddy Franchitone.
Yeah.
He was one hell of an actor. He was the biggest actor. He was married to Joan Crawford, had hundreds of movies, hundreds of TV shows. You worked for him at his mansion on Buffalo Avenue.
Yeah.
But what took him down?
Smoking.
Smoking. And what did he do?
Chain.
He'd have one cigarette lit,
another,
put another one in and light it.
Yeah.
He died a miserable life. And wasn't he have drinking problems too?
Oh, yeah.
Did he have temper problems too?
Oh, yeah.
So just because you got it all doesn't mean your life is easy. Life is easy. If you get involved in cigarettes or drink, it'll own you, and then that's the end of it. That's the end of it. Cigarettes. Like a smart man like Johnny Carson.
Ah.
He came from the gutter, built a multi-$100 million company, and his last words were in his 70s, "Those damn cigarettes." And that was it. And look at all the guys, like all those guys that played Vegas.
Who was the other one said that?
Sammy Davis Jr.
No, Johnny Carson or something. I don't
It was Jack Parr.
Yeah.
And it was Ed McMahon.
Yeah.
And all of them were involved, unfortunately, in cigarettes.
Yeah.
And that will take away your life early.
Yeah.
So you're here, Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925. And now it's 2025. And he's knocking on the door of 100.
Eternity.
Yeah, you hear that? You're knocking on the door of 100. When Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925, gasoline was 7 cents a gallon. Brand new houses, beautiful houses, were $2,000.
Yeah.
Brand new cars, $400 or $500.
Yeah.
You know, now look, everything's so expensive. The young people today can't seem to make it because everything's so expensive. A young husband, a young wife, they're all working 2 or 3 jobs, and they still can't get by. Mr. Jeckovich, how long were you married for?
69 years.
Last year alone, there was 90,000 divorces in Florida.
Oh, boy, Florida.
What was it mostly the cause?
Florida, yeah.
What was the cause of the divorces?
Pardon?
What was the cause of all these?
Money.
You hit the nail on the head. The honeymoon phase lasts about 2 weeks. And don't ever be so stupid to say the saying, I don't care if he or she has money, I'm going to marry him anyways. Well, you better think about it. You better think about it. Because there was 90,000 divorces last year in Florida because money is so expensive to live. So think of a plan. Because once that honeymoon phase is over with, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? You're in trouble. We talked on yesterday about longevity, and we spoke about your health yesterday, which was very good. And then we also talked about your jogging. When you started jogging 80 years ago, it wasn't acceptable, and it wasn't fashionable. And what would they say to you?
Get off the road, you bum.
As you're running through the streets in Niagara Falls, New York, 80 years ago, with your corduroy pants and your boots and your t-shirt or sweatshirt, they thought you were jogging because you couldn't afford a car.
Yeah.
But it was you're jogging for health. And they didn't realize that, so they'd say, get off the road, you bum. Can't you afford a car?
No.
They threw stuff at you. What did they throw at you?
Stones, cans of beer and everything
Empty cans of Genesee beer.
Yeah.
And one time they popped them in the head with a full can of Campbell's soup. So look at how times have changed. The people saying all these derogatory comments to Mr. Jeckovich 80 years ago about jogging, I'm sure they were ignorant of the fact they're ignorant, number one, but primarily Mr. Jeckovich was jogging for health. Right?
Right.
Mr. Jeckovich was jogging for health. And look, he's still here at 100 years old. He reads 3 newspapers in the morning. It's delivered in New York Times and Wall Street Journal. And he reads all 3 newspapers without glasses. His hand is to give you a handshake, and he can knock you to the ground. It's just a strong handshake. So he's doing pretty damn good for 100 years old. It's amazing. Longevity, wow. Longevity.
I'm the only one that's secured.
What?
All the rest of my family has passed away.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
Your mother left us at 89. Your sister Sally, God rest her
My
soul.
older brother passed away early.
God rest your soul. Your sister Sally,
Yeah.
she died about 15 years ago in her early 80s.
Yeah.
Uncle Charlie's dead. Your brother Lookie passed away 10, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
and he was younger than you. And Steve passed away.
He was there. He was the first one to go.
Yeah. And so they're all gone.
Yeah.
See, one thing you must understand, you'll never get away from this. The older you get, the less family and friends you got because they're all dead. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's an interesting fact I was reading in the paper today, getting your documents ready. On June 1st, 1926, that's a year after you were born.
Yeah.
June 1st, 1926, two people were born that we both know. Marilyn Monroe,
Yeah.
she was a year younger than you when she was born, but she died almost 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Died 70 years ago. And then Andy Griffith, he was a year younger than you, and he died 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So you never know. When it's your time,
It's the genes. It's the genes.
yeah, it's genes. So we talked about, we have so many questions that came in overnight. And then lots of them having to do with finances. What you don't want to do,
18.
what you don't want to do is outlive your money. That's very hard. You do not want to outlive your money. Many people retire at 60, and by 65 they're flat ass broke. You can't outlive your money. Mr. Jeckovich, lucky he didn't. He's 100 years old, he's still going strong, financially stable. But a lot of people don't seem to understand. Of an example we had last month, this one couple called in and said, they're 65 years old, they own their house free and clear, and they have $1 million in the bank. And I said, quite frankly to them, I would not want to be you. I would not want to be you. And they couldn't understand because they didn't understand how old age is so expensive, right?
Yeah.
Old age is expensive. You become a human cash register once you become old. So I gave these people an example. So you retire at 65, you have your house free and clear. Oh, and by the way, it never used to be, but right now it's extremely expensive to live in Florida. Two reasons. Property taxes are absolutely through the roof.
Yeah.
Property taxes are through the roof. I'll give you a quick example of that before I cover the rest of the story. Property taxes in Florida right now are through the roof, and it's actually criminal how high they take it. This couple I know bought a very modest house, not a modest house, bought a nice house, you might say, in 2009 in Miami, a nice section. It was like $600,000. It wasn't no mansion by no means, but it was a nice house. That neighborhood had great appreciation. It had great appreciation over the years, and just they were lucky at the right spot. In a way, they're unlucky, because now in 2025, they used to pay $9,000 a year in taxes. Now their Dade County real estate tax bill is $92,000 a year.
Yeah.
They can't afford to live there.
Yeah.
The retirees have to move out.
Yeah.
They got priced out of the market. And that's going on all over the place. Secondly, people don't understand how expensive it is to live in Florida. Even if you own your house clear and free, try to buy homeowners insurance. If you live on the beachside, no one's going to sell it to you but a high-risk group,
Yeah.
which won't cover nothing when something happens. And secondly, companies like State Farm, if your house is not 15 years or newer, they won't even sell you the property insurance, homeowners. But what took place in Florida is it's so expensive to buy homeowners insurance. It's through the roof. And unfortunately, during the last hurricane, most of these insurance companies rejected in excess of 60% of the legitimate claims.
Yeah.
So you're paying all this money and you still don't get the payment. And then secondly, the real estate taxes are absolutely criminal. Absolutely criminal. You basically get no services for it. And they go from $9,000 from 2009 a year in real estate tax is now $92,000 in 2025. It's absolutely criminal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they have the most incompetent people working these tax offices. They really do. Most of them are just incompetent people with blinders. So let's get back to the example. Million in the bank, house free and clear, and I told them I would not want to be you, because you do not want to outlive your money.
14.
You do not want to outlive your money, because you're basically screwed. So here we go. I gave them an example. If everything's going great in your life, and you have no problems, and you're elderly, and you want to live at home, that's quite fine. But Mr. Jeckovich, give him as an example, his knees blew out because he jogged for 80 years.
And he had frostbite and
everything else under the sun, but he's still here. But I'm giving an example of this 65-year-old couple. If they have perfect health, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They won't be rich, but they'll be fine. But if their knees blow out on one of them, and you want to stay at home, now you'll need around-the-clock care. And let me explain. And this is not luxurious living, this is survival living. If your knees blow out and you can't get around, you'll need 2 people, 24/7, every day of the month, to take you to the bathroom, showers, dress you, etc., etc., etc. And then you'll need a cook, a full-time cook. And then you'll need a driver to take you places, an especially designed wheelchair, van, or truck you have to buy. And then fifthly, you'll need a manager, a full-time manager. That's very important. You'll need a full-time manager to schedule all your doctor's appointments, all your household things you need to take care of, all your repairs in your house. And then on top of that, you still got to pay all your utilities in your house. You got to pay all your real estate taxes in your house. You got to pay all your upkeep of your house. And then you have to buy a lot more groceries than you normally buy, because now you got 5 other mouths to feed who are caring for you. So on a modest level, that'll come to $40,000 each and every month to have that staff. And that's not luxurious living, that's survival living. $40,000 a month. So let's get back there to scenario. $40,000 a month times 12, we're approximately at $500,000 a year to care for you. 2 years, $1 million. So your scenario of having your house paid in full and $1 million in the bank, after the second year, you are flat ass broke. So there it is. There's the example I try to show these people. And that's only retiring at 65. In Mr. Jeckovich's case, he's been retired for how many years?
1980.
Jesus, Mr. Jeckovich, you beat the system. You beat the system. Mr. Jeckovich has been retired since 1980. Now we're talking about a man who has been retired for 45 years, and he's doing well. Some people might say, you're making money off this book. Is your book for sale?
No, it's not for sale.
That book is not for sale. That book is not about income. That book is not about money. That book is for Mr. Jeckovich to share his ideas for the younger generation to have a better life.
11. 11.
It's a roadmap for the younger people. So he's doing quite well. He's doing quite well compared to most, unfortunately. So that's the example we gave with the younger couple, and if they have a knee problem, and then they're screwed, because once you get old, you are basically a human cash register.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
1,000 here, 15,000 here, 10,000 here. Everyone's got their hand out. Everyone's in your pocket. Some people might say, some elderly people might say, I have the illusionary notion that I'll be just fine because my kids will take care of me. How does that work?
That doesn't work out.
Doesn't work out.
Doesn't work out, no.
Doesn't work out. You'll find today, this is the greatest generation in the world. And today, the generation, a couple back from now, is the worst generation in the world. when they have to take care of an elderly person, their sons and daughters, they will abandon you like a rat will abandon you, like a rat will abandon a sinking ship. They will abandon you like a rat will abandon a sinking ship. Rats have a sixth sense. When they know that ship is sinking, they're gone. And that's what these relatives will do, because they don't want to put in time and they don't want to put in money. They're extremely narcissistic asswipes. No more than that. No more than that. And so you'll find out some of the most poisonous people on earth come disguised as relatives. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
Some of the most poisonous people on earth come disguised as your relatives. And that's a fact. So what I'm telling you and telling the younger people we're directed as, oh, by the way, if you're 40 years old, you have a 5% chance of making it to 100. So don't count your pennies to 100, because this is an unusual situation. This guy's in fine shape. He's in fine shape. So if you're 40, if you're thinking of making it to 100, chances are very slim. That's the reality. You know, don't shoot the messenger, but that's the reality. But what I say to these younger people, be realistic. Try to get and develop a plan where you have residual income. Residual income in such a way that when you're not able to work, you have a large amount of passive income. It's sad to say, but if you could have 5 figures or low 100 or 6 figures, that's about what it takes, because believe me, each month, because believe me, it's expensive to be old, right?
Right.
And it's laughable to think your relatives.
Yeah.
It's laughable. Yeah. Well, we just touched on it. We're not going to go in detail because it's totally disgusting to think of this actual situation. But the bottom line, Mr. Jeckovich is fine. He's doing quite well, financially, physically, and this guy, is we nicknamed him the Super Soldier, right?
Yeah.
We nicknamed him the Super Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
7 minutes.
Do you feel like answering any non-related questions that we're talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
You feel up to it?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, you can text Mr. Jeckovich any questions at area code 407-366-0000. Any questions from A to Z. His mind is like a library. He's got it.
I had a question for him.
What is it?
What was it like that Christmas night or Christmas Day when you were in the cold over there in Belgium?
Yeah.
What were you guys doing? Remember on Christmas?
Sleeping outside.
Yeah. Was there any church going on or anything?
Well, we went to church, outdoor church.
Outdoor church? And how many people were there?
Well, the company would be there.
So how many's in the company?
300 people.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Be
that's a
outside,
big deal,
outside in the winter time.
Oh.
Wow.
And did you have a nice meal that day?
Well, if they could get by it, if he had the conditions, they couldn't bring it up, they wouldn't bring it up.
Oh. So you were like in the middle of
Never forget,
nowhere.
we were still at the war.
Yeah. Was there any fighting going on that day?
Oh, yeah, they don't stop. That's the worst time to fight is in the winter time.
Wow. And even on Christmas, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hitler didn't give a shit. He wants to kill and destroy.
Wow.
Well, I got some questions that came in last night. They're not heavy-duty questions. If you don't feel like to answer them, you don't have to, but they're just from people from all around the world, and they're just curious. Mr. Jeckovich, have you ever been scuba diving?
Scuba diving? No.
Okay. Okay. How did your parents meet?
How my parents met, they met over here. They didn't meet over in Europe. They were both here before they knew each other.
So they met in Niagara Falls.
Yeah, they went to church or something together, yeah. Oh, they met at church, yeah.
They met in church. What church would that be?
Holy Trinity, Holy Rosary.
I see. Mr. Jeckovich, you had 4 girlfriends during World War II. Prior to that, do you remember when you were a teenager who you had your first crush on?
First, Irene Jeckovich.
What's her name?
Irene Jeckovich.
Describe her. Tell us about her.
Well, she's a young girl, my age.
Where'd she live?
Well, in Niagara Falls.
I'm going to show you a picture, Mr. Jeckovich. It just came in a few minutes ago. And I want you to see if you could describe this picture this person sent. This just came in. What is this picture?
It's the church in England.
No. It's on D Street, Niagara Falls, New York. Sugar.
Sugar Street?
Yeah.
That's not there yet, yeah. No, it's
It
called-
says Sugar Street School, Hyde Park Boulevard.
Yeah,
D Street.
that's called a long time. Oh,
Does it look familiar now?
no, that school's gone.
I know, but when you went, as a boy, you went to Sugar Street.
Yeah.
Was it on Hyde Park and D Street?
Yeah.
And next to those D Street, there was A, B, C, D Street. What were those streets like back then?
They were beautiful streets.
They were nice.
Yeah,
And what did they later turn out to be?
Dumpy, they're dumpy. They're not open. They're not occupied.
So you went to Sugar Street, which was only less than a mile from Orleans Avenue, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did you have good teachers there?
Huh?
Did you have good teachers there?
Oh yeah, they're mostly old teachers. Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an introvert.
Introvert. I see. Mr. Jeckovich, during World War II, were you in a submarine?
No.
Did you want to be in a submarine?
No, I want to be no submarine. No.
Mr. Jeckovich, during World War II, were you in the European theater or the Pacific?
European.
Did you want to be in the Pacific?
Yeah. No, I don't want to be in the Pacific. No.
Why not?
The crazy Japs over there. They're small. They call them holes and everything.
What countries were you in?
Huh?
What countries were you in Europe? Do you remember all the
Yeah,
countries?
every country in Europe I was in.
Oh, wow.
Well, Mr. Jeckovich, you're looking wonderful at 100 years old.
Almost.
We're going by the date of conception.
Okay.
The date of conception, Mr. Jeckovich, is 100 years old. How old do you actually feel?
How old I actually feel? 25.
I'll be damned. Really, tell the truth. How old do you feel?
I don't know. I never test how old I feel.
You said last month you blinked your eyes at 20 and you're 100 years old.
Yeah, well, that's how fast time goes, yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich, as a boy, did you like comic books?
No, not very well.
You weren't interested.
They had those little reading books.
Minutes?
We had those in the army a lot, too.
When you were a boy, and as you got older, did you like watching Lucille Ball?
No.
You didn't like that show?
No, my mother watched it. My mother
Your
watched
mother liked it, huh?
Yeah.
Did you watch Lawrence Welk?
Huh?
Lawrence Welk?
Lawrence Welk, I like Lawrence Welk, yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich, you had a lot of girlfriends in your days. How do you feel about redheads?
Redneck.
Redheads.
Redheads?
Yeah.
Never had a redheaded girlfriend, never. Never.
Mr. Jeckovich, what gives you the creeps?
Creeps?
Yeah. What gives you the creeps?
What do you mean creeps?
What makes you feel uneasy during your life?
Somebody's bragging about something.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. You've done a lot of things over your time, but have you ever ridden a camel?
Oh, what? No.
No. Did you have any interest in riding a camel?
No.
What is the hardest goodbye you ever had?
Hardest what?
Goodbye you ever had?
Had a goodbye?
Yeah, what was the hardest goodbye you had to tell someone that you ever
Yeah,
had?
goodbye to my mother, yeah. When
Your mother?
when I was drafted, yeah. I stayed away from the Army as long as I could.
Yeah.
And then they finally pulled me in.